Huda Beauty dropped Huda. I know you lying. Hey Louis, no more shopping sprees, no more late night creeps, no more VIP, no more dough. You can't even kick it no more with Huda. So this is Anonymous T, and let's get it crack-a-lackin'. So, anything I say is alleged and in my very, very personal opinion. This is for entertainment purposes only. None of this is personal. The Copyright Act of 1976 is in the description box. Some meat and potatoes, some housekeeping items. It is free to follow me. Free to follow me on this channel, Anonymous T. Free to follow me on my other channel, Anonymous T Podcast. There is new content over there. Follow me on the Tickety Talk at Anonymous T Podcast. Free to follow me on the Instagram. On the Instagram, he's at AnonymousRealityT. Free to share everywhere. Free to like the video so it gets out to the algorithm. Free to share with your family, your friends, and your foes, and coming or going, hit the like button. So today we are talking about Huda Beauty dropping Huda, and low-key a little bit shocked, I'm not gonna hold y'all, because I feel like this, departure of this deal, of this collaboration, and whatever future things that they had in the works, I feel like it came in the 11th hour. I felt like this should have been one of the first things that happened. I felt like we were repeating a cycle since June of continuing to allow the foolishness, of continuing to allow the BS that Huda does, which is play the forever victim, which is turn on the tears, which is blame everyone else but herself, which is never take accountability. So what am I talking about? What has happened? What is taking place? As y'all know, Huda and Louis were caught in 4K on a live. I don't know the scenario, if it was prank calls or whatever else. However, they answered a call from somebody who said Olandria's name and the N-word with the hard ER at the end. No. And then y'all laughing about it. And then y'all try to fix y'all face, but it was too late. It was too late because you already knew what y'all did, right? And then there were all of these different types of Instagram-y apologies that weren't really apologies, that was saying I didn't really know what was said, but then I did know what was said, and then I had a delayed reaction, and then I realized what the reaction was, and it wasn't really a reaction, but then I still reacted. No. Right? So then Olandria put out a statement and everything else, said there was going to be some fake apologies coming, put donation links to everything else. Other Islanders also put out statements. I still feel that Shelly's, alongside Olandria's, really was the most heartfelt. I felt Amaya's, also addressed the issue at hand, even though Amaya's kind of a tricky situation because she's still friends with Huda and still follows her and everything else. And then the rest of the Islanders were kind of like, I really don't condone this. I don't really condone that. I won't say the person's name. Then y'all were hitting up JD. And JD was like, listen, look here, I don't even feel like I need to defend anybody who doesn't mess with me. And it's like, what? like we're losing the plot further and further away. But nonetheless, I did a video about the PR spin that Huda's team was doing, which was, again, trying to frame Olandria as the angry black woman, trying to frame her as the one responsible for everything and not taking accountability. And there were some publications that didn't even include Olandria's statement, just posted for good PR purposes, this is Huda's apology, giving zero context, zero background information. Well, the one thing I will say was fans band together and called out the publications that was not telling the entire story. Some publications took their posts down, some did not. Some just reworked the title of their story and everything else. But that was boots on the ground to say, hey, we're not going to sit here and just allow this. But even with all of that, there still was nothing from Huda Beauty. And so nonetheless, it was black female influencers that got into formation that got Huda Beauty together and said, listen, looky here. If you do not stop this, if you are going to continue working with Huda, I want no parts. I want no parts. I will utilize other people's makeup. I will utilize other people's beauty brands. I'm not going to use it. And Uche was the main one who put that out there and everything else. And then there were some other influencers that said the same. And then next thing you know, it brings us to Halloween, you guys. It brings us to Halloween because prior to that, do you know what was happening on Huda Beauty's page? On Huda Beauty's page? They were deleting comments. They were deleting comments saying that you're not denouncing, Huda or nothing. So now we have the statements. So the first statement reads, you guys. It says, at Huda Beauty, kindness and humanity are at the heart of everything that we do. Oh, I'm sure. Unfortunately, one of our recent collaborators has displayed behavior that does not align with our values. You don't say. We are truly disappointed by Huda Mustafa's recent live, and we take all forms of racism very seriously. It took long enough, though, Huda Beauty. Like it took almost all week. Nonetheless, while we don't believe her actions reflect her character, now, see, this is where, again, no. We found them deeply upsetting. We know that many members of our community and team were hurt and offended by these actions. No, I have a problem with this right here. With while we don't believe her actions reflect her character, this is multiple incidences. Like, there was the video that I posted some months ago where Huda is freely mouthing and saying the N-word to a song and everything else. You know that song, That Ain't Me, right? Check out my shorts. It was there. Nonetheless, on the show, she was out of control. She was out of control, and production refused to let her off the show. Production, when the fans did speak out initially and had her as the lowest votes, when she was at the bottom and everything else, I can't even blame the cast because I feel like production was going to keep Huda no matter what because they wanted to fuel a redemption arc. They had no problem with her behavior at all and wanted to redeem her and wanted to keep her to the end because of the followers, because her behavior was going viral, and they did not care about the long-term effects and the long-term impact of having Huda's behavior on full court press and full court display like that was going to have in the implications. But from day one, she is calling Shelly and Olandria the B word right upon meeting them, right? And right upon meeting them, telling them about her being a single mom and everything else to lure them in, to make sure there is a built-in alliance they're always going to protect her. They're never going to do X, Y, and Z to her. And then anytime she was around Bella, she was around Lisa, she was trying anyone else. Oh, you guys, I love you guys. You're babe, you're this, they're that. Never calling them the B word and everything else. But then she would turn up the B word when Amaya would come in as a bombshell, when Hannah would come in as a bombshell, when Iris would come in. They were all bees. They were all bees trying to take her man Jeremiah, y'all. And people condoned the nonsense. Now, there were some Islanders that called Huda out on the nonsense and on the foolishness. But y'all kept keeping her on this show. And it was a disaster waiting to happen. So I'm not giving Huda Beauty their 10s for doing something they should have never done in the first place, which was hire Huda to do any collabs. So here's the rest of the statement. It says, while we value the partnership we had with Huda, her recent behavior and the way the situation has been handled does not reflect our brand's principles. So basically, in other words, what that means was they were waiting for what the result of the fallout was going to be. They were going to wait for the result of how her quote unquote apologies were going to be received and how the media, what side they were going to be on and everything else, and if that was going to be enough for them to continue on their partnership with Huda. No. So then after that, after waiting all week, now Huda Beauty is like, listen, look here. As a result, we've decided to end our partnership and remove any related content from our social platforms and in-store displays. Accountability is incredibly important in moments like this, and we hope that meaningful change can come from it. And is the accountability in the room with us? Because I still don't see Huda's accountability, you guys. I truly do not. And this is what Olandria and Shelley were talking about at the Love Island reunion when they talked to her on multiple occasions about her putting out a statement on her Instagrammies immediately when she got out of the villa to denounce racism, to denounce that superimposed photo of the George Floyd photo, like to do something. And she kept lying and saying that she was going to, and never did it because she didn't care. And this is the bad example of what happens with you becoming an overnight success, you becoming a reality star, you come out to millions of followers, but you have some fans in every fan base. Let's call it a thing. Every fan base has bad apples. Every fan base has bad apples. Every fan base has people who took it too far. But Huda's fans specifically take it up to an infinity notch and send hate to all these Islanders. They spam these Islanders' comments. Now Janae is getting dragged because she was in the comments of the post from Huda Beauty saying love to see it and everything else. And somebody was trying to drag her and she said, boo-hoo, I'm so sad. Give me more attention. Chriselle from Selling Sunset had heart emojis. Base Ken, who is one of the popular celebrity makeup artists, put clapping emojis. Asada, who is from season 1 Love Island USA, said wow, clapping emojis. Uche, who again was one of the main people who spoke out and called out the BS of it all, said thank you in all caps. A lot of people, were in these comments. But now the flip side is now they're going to these different influencer pages and sending hate their way. No, because you don't like the outcome. Because you do not like the outcome. Make it make sense, right? Make it make sense. And so, we are going to continue to see if there are any other brand deals that are going to, be impacted. Because again, Gymshark said that they didn't have any future collabs scheduled with Huda. And we know that this was one of her larger collaborations that she had, and they had some future things on the table. And she's going to be allegedly a part of Call of Duty. She already had the commercial with the NFL via Peacock. And there's rumors of some other brands, but we will see whether or not that still comes to fruition, or people are going to be putting belt to ASS to ensure that this is not going to be a thing. And we have Louis on social media, you guys, liking messy comments, taking zero accountability. And I just have a question. How much longer is this scam ship going to last? How long? Because PPG had it right to unfollow Louis right then and there when they got wind of what his plan was and what he was intending to do. And he had the audacity to think that he was potentially going to have this, PR relationship with Huda and bring Huda around PPG and PPG men and everything else. And everybody was going to enjoy the clout. No. These are real relationships, Louis. And see, I feel like some of y'all don't know how Louis really moves. And on Netflix, on these Netflix shows that he's in a 360 deal with. And that is, he's here just for a good time, not a long time. And he is here to milk all the clout possible before he moves on to the next. And he has complained about not getting the deals that the Love Islanders get. So obviously he was going to latch on to Huda because she had the most followers. And she was allegedly at one point in time, slated to have a whole bunch of brand deals that were worth some serious money. But now all of that is up in flames. So how long is Louis going to be sticking around for the foolishness of it all? Now, Huda, prior to Huda Beauty making their announcement that they were cutting ties, was posting that she was in the studio with some big time producers that have worked with Future and other artists. However, we're not here to see and listen to Huda music, you guys. So I don't know what the audience is supposed to be for that and what she's looking for. But nobody asked for Huda to be a recording artist, you guys. So nonetheless, that is it. That is all for this video. Es todos, es final, es finito. It is the end of the road. It's the end of the line for this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post the content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.